check this out. This is probably the greatest revamp of Takanuva that you will ever see. And in today's video, I want to dive in deep. We're going to study all the techniques, all the details, all the clever ideas. There's so much that's packed into this incredible mock. Come with me as we check out one of the greatest creations you've ever seen. This is Takanuva Definitive Edition by Brandon Builds. And dude, this is... wow. One thing I want to mention before we dive into the techniques on this mock is that Brandon has evolved and changed this creation over several years. We start off with the original version, which was made maybe like 5 years ago. And hey, this is pretty great. But as Brandon grew as a builder, so too did this mock. The visual style, it smoothed out a lot more, and the textures became far more consistent. It went from a good mock to a great mock. Brandon continued to tweak the design as he brought it to Brick Fair, Virginia in 2024. You can see new additions like painted golden armor and an awesome translucent blue staff. This is a custom resin cast piece, by the way. And then we've got the most recent version, which sports some stunning custom pearl gold CCBS armor. And you might notice a few other small but impactful revisions on the body and the armor. And you see, Brandon doesn't stop there. He's also made a few reskins of the character, giving him gunmetal armor, which of course is an homage to Takanuva as he appeared in his Mystica Titan form. Man, I find it so much fun to see this creation change and evolve. That's one of my favorite things about Brandon. He is consistently finding ways of updating and improving his work. He never settles. He learns, he grows, and he keeps refining things until he is super happy with them. I mean, even just having fun and trying out different color palettes. All of this, it shows such a brilliant spirit of creativity. Brandon is always willing to experiment, always willing to play and try new things with his creations. And I think that's the mark of a very good Bionicle builder. It's that level of dedication, play, and experimentation that has turned him into a skilled and talented builder. And it's turned this mock into one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Now, hey, I say all this and we still haven't even dived into the techniques that are on this build, so let's do that. Kicking things off with the torso. Look at the insane level of detail that's here. I love how he's created this nice chain of Exoforce robot arms and those smaller white claw pieces. They're all attached onto one bar piece and angled a little bit on the sides of the torso. I think this perfectly mirrors human anatomy, but the textures also give it this nice robotic flair. It's stunning. The torso also does a very nice job of continuing that delightful metallic gold. It starts at the top and works its way all the way down the waist. The pieces that are used here to achieve this, they're the elements that you're seeing to your right. And actually, each and every one of these all appears in the LEGO Infinity Gauntlet set. I don't think this has retired yet. I saw this for sale quite recently, actually. So you can still pick it up. And dude, I'm telling you, like 80% of this set is just metallic gold pieces. You need to pick this up so you can do something similar to what Brandon has done. This is a great parts pack. I mean, you can even see some more gold pieces on the knees. Just look how much this pops up against the black and the white. Oh, it's lovely. And while we're talking about these legs, I also want to point out this design. Using some of these armor plate pieces in white. I love how they're paired here with these armor shells. They just neatly hug the sides, but they also help cover up the exposed gap that you find on this piece. Pairing those pieces together makes for a beautiful overall design. If you're interested in getting some of these parts and doing something similar, remember that these come in the awesome Scout Trooper Star Wars Ultra Build set. The rider has them right here. Oh, these pieces rock. And then to the side, check out the use of these Technic bushings. These are the older variants of this piece, you'll notice, because they have that, I guess, like toothed edge around the ring. We saw these back in the day in some older Technic sets, like this one. I quite like the robotic and mechanical feeling that it gives to this creation when you put them on the sides there. It reminds me of the Bionicle movie The Legend Reborn. The animations on all of the characters, they often had these rotating gears and cogs on their body, and they would just always consistently move and rotate. I always liked this. I always thought it was a very nice touch. It was just a great way to reinforce that they are indeed robots. Sure, these aren't spinning, but the texture really injects that bionicle feeling into this. It's dope. And then we've got 2 trans bright blue cheese slopes on the feet. I appreciate how this ties back to the translucent staff that Brandon added in before. I feel like that hint of trans light blue is a great way to showcase his light-based powers. Now, as the Takanuva mock grew, it eventually lost this staff piece, and it went back to a silver one. But see, I like this, because this is an homage to the very first form that this mock appeared in. A good throwback like that, I love it. And while we're talking about custom pieces, the chest and the shoulder armor. At Brick Fair, these were painted gold. And actually, you know what? I like that. The imperfections on the paint job, it kind of makes it look a bit like battle damage or weathering. But yeah, these were swapped out later for some custom resin cast pieces. If you're curious where these were bought from, it was by a guy named Zion Tyro. If you want to pick some up yourself, I'll link the store below. Just next door to the armor that we're talking about is another very nice detail. We have a few exposed gears. So the original version of Takanuva, he of course had a gear function. So I appreciate the callback to that. Even if it is just for show and it doesn't actually do anything. And once again, in the later versions, this was modified and updated so that he had a much more accurate gear. Moving on down, I love the waist construction, how it's using these white macaroni pieces. I don't know, the way those wrap around the waist, it just looks sensational. If you want to pick up some of these pieces, you can get them in a recent Harry Potter Book Nook set. This is just a modern set that they come in, but there's definitely cheaper and easier ways to pick up a lot more of these than just the one that comes in this set. Anyway, over to the upper leg design. Let's look at this from behind. There's a super smart technique going on here. We have a traditional CCBS armor shell, and directly behind it is this Ben 10 armor piece in black. These are then linked together by putting a lightsaber bar through both of the connection points on the holes of either piece. Isn't that awesome? It creates a design that looks good from the front and the back, and you don't see that every day. And then just below this, look at this little bit of side armor. Just the smallest little bit there. This is accomplished with the use of a T-bar piece. You slot that into the side of this socket element. From here, you need to get these clip pieces. You lock them onto the T-bar, and then on either end of those studs, you place the left and right version of these wedge pieces. And boom, there you go. Now your leg has just that little bit of armor on the side. Moving down once more, the back of the lower legs. These make use of a few tire pieces. We have these small ones. You can find these on some of the Lego wheelbarrow pieces. And the larger version too that's also being used. These appear on this Animal Crossing set, for example. And yeah, that creates this pretty sick leg design. So there you go, gang. That's a very in-depth look at Brandon Build's Takanuva revamp. Let's just take one last look at that sweet DLC reskin of Takanuva. Because I'm sure you're wondering where the heck that mask came from. Well, if you want to pick one up, you can get them on AliExpress in a variety of different colors. Again, I'll have the link below. Anyway, man, Takanuva has never looked better. I love this mock so much, and I hope you do too. Go and check the links below and start following Brandon on his social media. If you love this, you'll love his other work as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now. Oh, and one last thing. This glorious image here was edited by the one and only Loaf Builds, and he's open to commissions if you want to get an image edited like this. I'll have a link to his social media below. Just send him a message, and you can commission some beautiful artwork like this on one of your own creations.